All right, welcome everyone. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com, and it's somewhere like a Friday in the middle of October 2022, and I have John Perez back with me. John, I wanted to mark our anniversary, so I had to look up our initiation date when I first, you'd been calling me on a pretty regular basis, and you said, David, I've got this information, and I, of course, said, I'm pretty conservative, John. Show me more, tell me more, do more. And you did. And I got to that point where I've mentioned several times that I couldn't ignore it. It was now or never. That was November 1st, 2022. So roughly 2 weeks from today. We posted it 11 days later. I think the post went up on the 11th. But I happened to mention the date in that episode saying, hey, it's, it's background what you just did, and said it was November 1st. So almost a year. So much has happened. So many of your forecasts have come true. But before we start, there's a couple things I want to go through real quick on my Twitter feed. And of course, here I am already prepped for it. I don't see it. So I'm going to just pull it up in front of everybody. It takes a second. There's Twitter. There's me. This is my feed. And this is the one I want to start with, John, because you and I would say are one of the leading forces trying to get this Tether story out to the public. And this just came in Thursday, 13th, yesterday. Tether eliminates all commercial paper exposure from its reserves. And if you go in here deeper, I don't know if I can find it. I've read this twice. It basically says that they didn't take any losses. Accomplishing this goal required elimination of $30 billion worth of commercial paper, which Tether said it was able to achieve, quote unquote, without any losses. So I just put this out on my LinkedIn and my Twitter feed, and I said, are you kidding me? With Evergrande exposure, commercial paper market anyway, interest rates going up, they were able to off all of their commercial crap without any losses. John, I'd like your comment.
I just think, we're talking about an unaudited group here. This company, it's not like they've been audited by group in their own area, but they're technically really not an audited company here. And apparently, here it says here, as part of a settlement, Tether began publishing quarterly attestations of stablecoin. How is the whole market's collapsing? Everyone's dumping the dollar. They're dumping the U.S. Treasury debt. Who paid for this? Who bought it? Who ate it? I've said before, I've always said that Tether and Bitcoin are joined at the hip. And I've always felt as if this was a state-sponsored psychological economic operation, getting people ready to be pushed into CBDC and into a new surveillance state of coins of tracking and surveillance. But now they can just make this. We moved 30 billion in commercial paper, no losses here. It's like no press release. Who bought it? Once again, this is the problem with Tether. It's like they have all these statements and claims, and they do their own auditing here. But there's like, where's the beef? Where's the beef? Who bought I'd like to know who bought $30 million of a stablecoin debt. As these markets are on its way down, and there's nuclear war ready to break out, and there's all now that we see Bitcoin is on its way down, everyone's suffering. The crypto apocalypse, the $2 trillion prediction I made is now surpassing 2 trillion and going lower. So I think this story here, it stinks. It stinks. Yeah. Why would anyone buy 30 billion in commercial paper holdings when? But they didn't say. They didn't say had any losses. This smells.
Yeah,
this really smells.
Let me pause you there for a second, because the last thing I said on my feed was the only way this could take place, in my opinion, is that a government entity bought that crap. And that's going to move me to the next topic, which is a little off topic, and I'll give you most of the floor because we did a little pre-interview. But, people talk about taking the Fed's balance sheet down. John, you know how to take the Fed's balance sheet down? Market to market. They bought these subprime pieces of crap for full price so they could reliquify the banks and keep the whole system from collapsing. And that's the correct word, people, collapsing. So they fed, the best debt available, U.S. Treasuries, which now are coming into question by the world, which I've predicted forever, and so have a lot of people, but it's coming to the fore. So they gave them good money for bad. So why doesn't the Fed just sell off all this crap, which they say they're going to tighten? And who's going to buy it? They're going to have to market. So if they do that, it goes from the balance sheet gets cut probably in the 2/3. Anyway, I had to get that in there. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and certainly you could comment on that.
Yeah, I think the Fed and Tether have the same problem right now. They are both constipated with debt. You know, it's like you've got the Fed is suffering from about 100 years of constipation, and we're the ones that they're shitting on. With their bad paper and printing the dollar. I mean, not to mention all this money being laundered and being sent to Ukraine, to commit more war crimes and out there. It's just insane what we're seeing here. I mean, I think, in fact, the entire markets are completely insane right now, David. I mean, Bitcoin sitting here, just sitting still at 19, ready to die. Silver at 18, silver at a 60% discount to the 1980 high. I mean, once again, the Silver City housing bubble is doing wonderful. I mean, right now, if you're buying silver right now, you're not buying silver. You are stealing the silver. You are not buying it. You're like, today's Physical Friday, silver. I call it Physical Fridays. And today I'm telling people, look, if you're buying silver under $20, you're stealing it. You're absolutely stealing it here. And we had a lot of people in the group buying here, but yeah, it's nuts right now. You can turn on the news all day long and they have to keep on giving the same reports. The numbers are inflation numbers. And it's like, now forget about it. Just forget it. I don't want to see it. I'm just waiting for the press release button here to go off. But as you know, my philosophy has always been hashtag bombs move markets. And in my opinion, we're at the place where they need a crisis and an event so they can scapegoat their way out of reality temporarily, because it's going to come get them. I mean, the only reason why we have strength in the US dollar is because the euro is collapsing. The entire European economy is collapsing. Germany, in my opinion, is already in a depression. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania will all go into depression. Poland is suffering greatly here. We've got winter coming. I mean, the list is so long here, but back to the Federal Reserve. Tether, I've always said Tether to me is just an electronic version of the Federal Reserve. You look at how they just print shit out of midair and out of thin air and then claim it. And that's what the Federal Reserve does. So I've always seen the Tether as being an electronic, unaudited Federal Reserve, which is the Federal Reserve is a fiat, unaudited, they're the same thing. It's like two heads on the same monster. And I bet down the road, we'll find out that those two heads are connected to the same body. I believe we're going to see that.
Very good. Well, we talked a little bit pre-interview. Why don't you give us kind of your geopolitical outlook here and the war syndrome moving forward over the next few months? I just want to get it on record here, John.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been some new developments, and I'm going to shock you with one. I'm going to make a prediction here. I made a prediction with Mike Adams on his show. For the last 4 months, I said that Starlink would be shot down over Ukraine. And lo and behold, it happened. They were blinded. They were taken out. And now literally this morning, just a couple hours ago, I've been telling people, get ready, because we're going to see new electronic warfare methods, new weapons used against Starlink. And now all these videos are coming out with these lasers pointing up in the sky. And I said they would be lasers, and one would be there's a new laser coming out. It's going to be exposed called it's a plasma laser. It hasn't been seen before. I haven't seen it yet deployed, but it's coming. But that being said, I'm going to make another prediction. We are going to see Elon Musk Starlink systems, satellite systems, number one, shot down, brought down over the Chinese invasion of Taiwan. We are going to see that happen, and it's going to be it's going to be soon, because the model that Russia used on Ukraine, moving in, the historic lands of Ukraine are part of Russia. And now you're going to see the same thing, the one China policy unfold in Taiwan. And part of that unfolding will be China making a kinetic effort, a blinding effort, and an economic effort to take out Starlink satellites, just the same way Vladimir Putin did it in Ukraine. And as of this morning, last night, because I've been reporting on this here, last night, Elon went to the Pentagon and said, we don't want to pay for this anymore. So now he's backpedaling. We had a diplomat in Ukraine basically attack Elon, and now the diplomats in China are attacking Elon, and the news is not covering it. But this is a big deal. China, it's my prediction, China will shoot down and take out Elon Musk satellites. This is going to destabilize Tesla stock, which is going to therefore have an effect on the Twitter deal, which will most likely collapse it. And who wins if that happens? Trump stock, DWAC, and True Social. So this is coming. It's a big prediction. No one else is going to make this prediction here. Russia shoot down Starlink is blinding, and Ukraine has already been confirmed. That'll accelerate to the next level here as their their special military operation goes to a total military operation. Forget looking at silver and gold. It's going to be held in place here until there's a nuclear DEFCON event. And as I said, I think in my first interviews, I said it's going to take a nuclear event to move silver and gold. And that's exactly what we're going to get. We are going to get a DEFCON level 2 nuclear event, which is finally going to release the grip of gold. And then China is going to move in on Taiwan. And China, one of their roles are going to play is taking out Elon Musk Starlink satellites over Taiwan. Big surprise there. Sorry about that.
No one could ever accuse you of not thinking outside the box. Welcome aboard. You're outside the box further than me. So I want to come back to silver. You've studied the silver market for a long time as well. And I'm just going to give you a fact, and then I'd like your comment. I've got some thoughts. Hopefully I don't enter them in, so I want to hear. But so we go back to, my lifetime history with silver. Silver muddled along, got demonetized in 1965. Johnson took it out of circulation. You could still cash your silver certificates up to 1968. And the point is that we made this run from $1.29 up to 50, and 90% of that movement came in the last 10% of the time. We went from $6 January 1979 to $50 January 1980. So you could have held it for like 14 years and made an appreciable gain, but nothing to write home about. But if you speculated for that 1 year, you made over 850%. So that's the background. But here's the kicker that no one talks about. Now remember, the all-time high in January 79 was 6, okay? So now it goes to 50. Then the hunts get taken to Congress and all this stuff happens, and you get Silver Thursday. But here's the point. I want to really emphasize this. The average price for all of 1980 was $20 an ounce. The average. It was higher, it was lower, but the average price for the year was 20, which is over 300% higher than the all-time high in 1979. You catching my drift here?
Yes.
79, it hit 6. It gets this big exponential move. All this rhetoric comes out about why and the hunts and all this stuff. But when it settles down, it doesn't go back down to 6. It goes to 20, and it stays there. So this is a fact that I want to bring to the fore. What are your thoughts on that? I have some thoughts about it, but what do you think? Why would it do that?
I'm of the belief that the markets, what we're watching is these are the last days of the globalist cabal grasp on gold and silver. Because if they let go of gold and silver here, then this would fulfill a Q drop that said, gold shall destroy the Fed. So they're fighting tooth and nail to hold on, because the minute this silver and gold goes, and because everybody's bought it up, I mean, there's no surface silver out there. You go, I'm hearing it every day. I have 6,000 people live talking to me, and I'll ask a question: how's your local coin guy doing? And they'll say, empty, out of inventory, out of inventory, out of inventory. So I think we're at the point to where, I have a conspiracy theory that believes that this market I'm probably the only guy who likes suppression right now, because it's allowing me to get more people into the silver game now at these prices. But I think these are the last days of the cabal hanging on to silver. I think everything we see on the derivatives market is all a pre-detonation program. I think the fake news is like the fake COMEX news. It's like, in the end, when the COMEX is opened up, we're going to see probably an empty warehouse, a couple dusty pallets. It'll be really dusty in there. Couple silver bars, maybe some fake ones, and a bunch of Post-it notes here, and it'll just say Kilroy was here. But I just don't see any of this. Market is now, it's being as anything real. I think we're in a full, total intervention state right now. It's a total intervention state. There's nothing that makes any sense. And this is part of what my belief, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, these markets will not move until a nuclear DEFCON event is here. It is, I believe it is scheduled, it is planned, and I think we are near. I did a show last night on today is October 14th, 2022, an important date in history. And that is this, because in October 14th, 1962 is the anniversary when the U-2 spy plane captured pictures of the Soviet Union's missiles on the Cuban island, on Cuba. Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0 begins today, 2022. Today is a 60-year exact delta, October 14th, 2022 to October 14th, 1962. And I can see it now coming. I said, that's why I keep focusing on this nuclear DEFCON event. This is the only thing that's going to let go of silver and gold, because the Federal Reserve is fighting for its life. It's a wounded animal. And in order for them to stay alive and continue printing money, which is all going to Ukraine, being laundered and going to another country, which we'll talk about in the future. But the only thing holding on now is the fact that nothing big enough has created a wave of buying that's going to wipe everything out. And for the most part, everything is emptied in most of the coin stores. There's still some silver out there, but in my opinion, the market is really hinged on a nuclear DEFCON event, which is unfolding. So today, once again, October 14th, 1962, this was the day that the United States discovered Soviet missiles on the island of Cuba. And today is October 14th. And the Russians, I predict, will be launching a Sarmat or Topol-M nuclear ICBM here very, very soon in the news from today's interview. And that's when things are going to get real. That's when this market is they're not going to be able to hide this, because, they hide all this stuff. Inflation is not 8%, it's 25, 30%. Germany is in a depression. We got a railroad strike coming up. We got mini ice age coming here. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is just the price of silver is just absolutely fake. It's under $20 today, steal it. You're not buying it, just steal it. Get as much as you can right now, because the fundamentals just say one thing: silver is going higher. And to your point about from 50 to 20, this whole level right here where we're at is like the price of gasoline. The price of gasoline was 70 cents in 1980. So if you know what's gas now, last week in Newport Beach, it was $7.57. Wow, that's 1,000% increase. That would mean that's 70 cent gasoline 1980 to 7.57. That would mean gasoline would have to be at 70 cents a gallon right now to equal the discount that's built into silver right now. So that's just right out in the open here. We don't look at things that way, but that's how I see. If you look at real estate prices compared to silver, gone. Grocery compared to silver, gone. Food, gone. Gasoline prices, gone. But silver has just magically sat right here the whole time. And that to me means either ignore it or steal it. We're there. What more can we ask? Global nuclear crisis, Cuban Missile Crisis, Delta today, a 60-year Delta. It's
John, I got to get in there. So take me through the scenario. What does it look like when this nuclear strike happens? Do the metals markets get closed down? Do people bid the prices higher and there's even a bigger delta in the premium? Does the COMEX say force majeure? We've got to give the metal for the war effort. What does it look like after we get the bombs? Bombs move markets. Okay, bombs have moved. Now the markets are going to move. What does that look like?
Well, I think the first thing is that the COMEX is going to roll over and they're going to declare force majeure. They're going to call up J. Powell. We need a couple pallets of fiat to pay these people off. They ain't getting any silver, because that silver, in my opinion, it ain't there. It's just not there. And that story is just going to fizzle out at that point. Remember, it's going to be like MF Global. MF Global imploded. Story came out and just somehow it just faded off the screen. The COMEX is going to fade off. And remember, this goes to Bin Salman and Vladimir Putin, because part of the argument for them cutting down on production is because, and Bin Salman and Vladimir Putin were were clear on this. They said the oil futures markets do not reflect the reality of the markets. Now that's geopolitical as well as economic in the statement there. But what they're saying is it's like our oil is worth more, but those future markets are manipulating the price. So they're going to pull out. They're going to pull back their production. We're going to see the price go up. So we're going to see the oil futures market collapse because they're going to be dumping the dollar. The Saudis are going to move. When Biden goes to Saudi Arabia, he's going to destroy the relationship with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia will stop buying weapons from the United States, and they'll sign contracts with Russia, buy Russian weapons. A big fail coming up. Big fail in the news coming up very soon with Biden going into Saudi Arabia here. But force majeure, COMEX, news will be out. There'll be lines at the coin stores. People will panic. They'll run it. They're already gone. It'll be, I think it'll be about 4 to 6 hours and everything will be gone because most of it is already gone. And people know to go long. Buy silver, bury it, forget it. Buy it.
I talked to a dealer yesterday and they won't take order. Well, wholesaler. In fact, Mike knows them. And they are only taking orders where they can deliver 30 days or less, which basically, if you look at the fine print, that's what these dealers are supposed to do. But regardless of that, a lot of them are quoting, 4-6 weeks out. How would you like to say you never bought silver before? You're looking at maybe a barter situation. I don't want to be too extreme. I want to be fair and balanced. But, you want your silver. You decide Constitutional is the best. You order a bag of dimes. You're paying a 40% premium now, highest ever, and you got to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get it. Would you be nervous if a bomb dropped between now and that 8 weeks, time frame?
I just received an order. It took me 3 weeks to get. I was panicking. I was like, I've been getting, I usually work with my guy at Monex, and I've been doing this for a long time. And all of a sudden I thought, I wanted a certain product from a certain company, and it took 3 weeks and I was panicking. I'm like, holy crap. This is like, I'm in the business and I'm panicking here. I'm call, what's taking so long? And I thought, okay, I'm done there. Now from here on in, I'm only how long, how much, and how fast, how much and how fast. If someone says buy it ahead of time, I won't do it. I simply would not do it because these guys can be put up against the wall. I mean, they can, hey, we just, front ran and sold because they're playing derivatives now. It's kind of like you're pre-buying.
The wholesalers are, some are. I don't want to speak for all of them, but some of the wholesalers are basically taking losses at these prices, believe it or not. And just think about it logically. Yeah.
I think I
want to move on. We could dwell on this longer, but I want to get to a point that one, I disagree with you on. And that is the COMEX numbers are fake. I'm not saying they're real because I don't know, but I have accepted them as real. So listen to me carefully, people. I'm not really pushing back on John too far, but I've used them in my analysis for years. But here's the point I want to make. Not that I think the numbers are correct, so I don't. What I do know is that according to them, there's 82,000 7,900 ounces in the registered category. So let me just bark that out easily. There's 40 million ounces left in the registered category, which is all the dealers have. And in a good year, John, the U.S. Mint alone mints 40 million ounces of silver. So basically what I'm saying is all that the dealers have left on the COMEX, according to their paper, whether you believe them or not, I'll say I do, they're down to 1 year's inventory. And the thing that's ironic about this, you know what I'm going to say, is that the mint has not produced what they're supposed to the whole freaking year.
Yes, I was just going over those numbers yesterday. When you said that number, I was like, wait a second here. This is the mint is what's short on this year. This may be the last withdrawal. Wait a second, we got to save so much. The U.S. Mint, we got to keep 40 million on the side. The rest is gone. 40 million. Go ahead and throw those numbers out there, and we'll go from there. I'm with you on that. I agree with you that I think you just hit the nail on the head. As soon as you said that number, I thought, oh crap, there it is right there. It makes sense. I mean, this makes sense. We're at that point to where, I mean, an ounce is an ounce, and they have their inventory, they have their numbers, and it would make sense. Okay, everything in the COMEX. If this is the case, then really, technically, if we go by your conspiracy theory on this, David, The COMEX is empty as of now. If we would like our silver now, okay, boom. What do you got? We got 40,082,700. We'll come get it right now. Can we do another order? No, we got none left. That's how it's going to end. I don't think it's going to end in. I think it's going to end with fireworks.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the inventory will be accounted for. Well, the American Mint, and we got a shortage on silver. It's like, what do you mean a shortage on silver? Well, but they're in the business of exchanging, not reporting, forecasting on silver going in and out. But if this is correct, if the mint goes down, mint comes in and collects. Okay, so let's say they're empty. And I agree with you 1,000,000% on this. You nailed this one here. This would coincide with what is scheduled to happen. I believe next week is the Russian oil cap is coming with Yellen, and Russia and Saudi Arabia are going to break away from the oil futures market, and Janet Yellen is going to put a $60 oil cap on Russian oil, and Russia is going to say, "Yeah, we ain't selling you any oil," and the supply in the United States will be vaporized overnight, and gas in California is going to $10, and the silver oil ratio is going to follow what Vladimir Putin and bin Salman does, not what we've been seeing. So I think we're pretty much in the end game right now. It's happening right now. Your numbers you just gave, I didn't even think about that. That's I just see a big minus sign. Thank you, minus Mint. Dear Mint, go get your 42 million so we can get some real numbers here. I think you just nailed it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, we're kind of pressed for time, as you know. Let me just turn it over to you. Is there anything in your final thoughts you'd like to get into this video? Thanks for coming on board. I kind of miss you, not because we get to talk offline, but I haven't had you on for a while. There's a different energy between us when we're doing these videos, because we're really trying to dig deep to get some information out there that really wakes people up. And of course, you've been doing that for a long time. And congratulations on Silver is Money going from, I think we started at 300 to what is it, 6,000 now or something?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's like 1,000 people joined the other 24-hour period, thousands of people coming on board, and it's getting bigger. I think we're in 41 countries now, and it continues to grow. And so many of your wonderful people here. It's just a fabulous channel. There's so many intelligent people on there, and it's expanded. Now we have a prepper channel. I've got a conspiracy channel, and the stock channel, the stock club. It's been really successful, and really happy about that. And it's pro silver, pro gold, pro silver, pro palladium, pro platinum, and we love all the 4 precious metals here. And it's plain English, just plain English, just straight talk, no BS. No BS. Telegram, uncensored, uncensored adult entertainment and intellectual nudity. So thank you so much. I was thinking to myself, I know this was my first interview, just was recently, and here, fast forward, a year goes by and this Tether story pops up. Like, wink, wink, 30 billion lost. Oh, okay. I wonder where that went. That's just, like you said, mark to market. As I said, Tether and the Federal Reserve, to me, those are 2 heads on the same butt.
All right, John, I think we'll close it out there. I really appreciate your time as always. Have a great weekend, and we will be back together in the near future.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for having me on board, and hello again to all you silver gurus out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.